Hiya, Carl Frisch. Hi. Good
Good
morning.
morning. I know you said there's only one man who can talk about this, and I assume you mean Rick Santorum,
Yes, that is exactly who I meant. But
because I read Dexter is excited about, he's got the Santorum momentum as
yes,
well. Um, I read recently that the Republican presidential candidates
he
are
said something
calling
about
Rick,
man on dog. Dexter did. Is that what
Something
he
like
was?
that, yeah.
Okay.
they're calling Rick Santorum for advice about how to beat Trump.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh my God. Well, he is, good at come from behind victories. That was another man on dog joke. Okay. Hey, Carl. What to Tom Nichols' point? How do you run in that environment where he said we have just transitioned to a time where reality simply doesn't matter anymore? We are at what now? 3% unemployment, 3.4 inflation, GDP growth. I mean, every statistic, and it just. But we live in a reality where if you watch Fox News, the economy in is a. First of all, the unemployment rate is half what it was when Trump left office. How is it that and gun violence when Senator Schumer, you can statistically prove how many less deaths and shootings we had when we had an assault weapons ban. But it doesn't. What do you do
Yeah.
when facts don't matter, statistics don't matter anymore?
Well, I think on the economy, we need to, the polling needs to ask better questions. I think
Yeah,
people express their anxiety about the state of our democracy and our nation as a whole in their answers about their state of the economy.
maybe the
And
reason they keep saying Biden is too old is because the only question they're asking is Biden too old?
Right.
sure. Um, so I think people, yes, I think there are plenty of people who still need help, but that's been the case for many, many years. I think by and large, people are answering the economy question by answering the democracy question. Are they worried about our democracy? Are they worried about the state of our nation? Yes. And by the way, Republicans are geared towards keeping that number up. And that's why they're going after these bizarre, impeachment conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
is to show kind of this both sides. It's not Trump wasn't the only unstable,
Yeah.
guy who was corrupt. Joe Biden was too. Look, he made 4 car payments for his son.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and also, it seems like, that's why cheating is one of their main strategies. By the way, Jody had a correction,
Oh,
or
yeah.
just I had a question about the Wisconsin electors who had to admit Joe Biden won Wisconsin, that they lied, and that they won't do it again. I was like, that's it? But someone was pointing out that was a
It was a
civil
civil lawsuit, and they're hoping that the AG of Wisconsin will bring
criminal
criminal.
because there should be. I mean, there has to be actual consequences, or as everyone says, Carl, was a dry run, was a practice run for doing it
Well, I think
again.
unfortunately, I think even with admitting these things, how many people have we seen in court in closed depositions saying over and over again that they had no evidence, that they just did what they wanted to do to try and steal the election for Trump. And that doesn't matter to the broad masses on the right. And so I think we need to stop with our obsession of trying to convince the right that they're wrong or that the election was conducted in a fair manner, because they're not going to be convinced of it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if Donald Trump said tomorrow, I was wrong all this time, the election wasn't stolen, people would, on the far right, would not say, well, I guess we just pack it in and try better next time.
Yeah.
What they would say is, somebody's gotten to this guy.
He's already admitted that there was never any mechanism for Mexico to pay for the wall.
Right.
It's almost like he enjoys telling his followers how stupid they are to their face. I mean, anyway.
I mean, that's on video. I mean, yes, he does enjoy that.
Yeah. Liz tweeted about something we talked about yesterday, Carl, just, in terms of political trends. She said, yes, Donald is the major reason GOP became traitors, but Republican voters, plus some politicians, were already being seduced by Kremlin via the NRA, white supremacy, and right-wing Christianity. That, plus racism, Obama derangement, allowed Trump to even have a chance in 2016. I mean, I think those are some true statements. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for us to remember before Trump,
Yeah.
and the groundwork, Trump just played it like a fiddle, right? He knew what groundwork had been laid out there. He had watched Fox News. He knew what conversations were driving right wing narratives. That's why these attacks on our elections and on our public education and on the media have done so well for him, because this was the music that's been played in the far right for generations. You can take each one of those threads back many, many decades. And he played them masterfully, and he paid no consequences for it.
Yeah. Speaking of Karen from Chicago, our beloved, who just called, we got talking about this too yesterday, just in terms of what are going to be factors, Carl, in 2024. This is from ISD Global. Capitalizing on crisis, Russia, China, and Iran are using Twitter to exploit Israel-Hamas information chaos. And Karen said, in order to divide us, this is how they're micro-targeting us this time around. We need to make everybody aware that this is their goal. It's the new racial and Bernie versus Hillary divide and conquer tactic. And again, it appears to be kind of working so far, right?
In some ways, yeah. I do continue to wonder, though, what the long-term impact of the Roe decision is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because we've seen in election after election after election that's having a profound impact on the electorate and not in the Republicans' favor. So if you already start an election cycle where Trump is, likely to lose to Joe Biden, and you add that calculus to it, I see it very difficult for him to pull it off. If we all remain engaged and all remain, committed to doing everything we need to make sure that happens, right? We can't just sit on our hands and hope that he loses, because that will never happen.
Yeah.
But I remain where I was months ago, that Biden is in the driver's seat here, and that the media is ginning up a horse race between the two of them. It could be close, but that's, gone are the days of taking any election for granted.
Yeah.
We need to do everything we can every day we
Bobby
can.
Kennedy Jr. still has a spot at the Fox News table. I guess my wife was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell is a acceptable reason to Fox for vacationing with Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, and we'll see how long he
if
has
you'll hurt
that
Biden,
seat.
I guess anything goes over on Fox.
We'll see how long he has that seat. And we're now seeing that the Republican National Committee feels like Kennedy's doing such a good job with the tools that they've given him that he's taking votes from Trump. So it's only a matter of time before they go in and undermine that creation. That Frankenstein monster.
Well,